Stop. Before you go one more step into your day, I need you to hear something. You have been carrying weight that does not belong to you. And I do not mean the kind of weight you can put down on a table and walk away from. I mean the kind that has worked itself into your shoulders, into the back of your neck, into the space behind your eyes where the headaches live. The kind that makes you feel like you woke up already tired even though nothing happened yet. You have been feeling this for a while now. And you have been calling it stress. You have been calling it anxiety. You have been calling it just the way things are. But I am 85 years old, and I have seen this my entire life, and I am telling you right now, that is not yours. What you are carrying belongs to someone else, and today I am going to show you exactly how our people removed it. The same way I have been doing it since I was 15 years old, standing beside my grandmother in the early morning cold. This is not something I read, this is something I lived, so sit down and listen to me. Now, the first thing I need you to understand before we go any further is what energy actually is according to Cherokee teaching. Because the word gets used so loosely today that it has almost lost its meaning. People say good energy, bad energy, high energy, like they are talking about a cup of coffee. But when our elders spoke about energy, they were speaking about something with weight and substance and direction. They taught us that every living person generates a field around their body, not metaphor, not poetry, actual field. And that field is constantly in motion. It moves outward from you. It brushes against the fields of everyone around you. When you sit next to someone who is deeply sad, your field touches their field. When you hug someone who is filled with anxiety, that anxiety does not stay neatly inside them. When someone speaks angry words in your direction, those words carry a charge that lands on you whether you want it to or not. Our medicine people describe this the way a farmer describes rain. Rain does not ask your permission before it soaks your clothes. Energy does not ask your permission before it attaches. And here is what took me years to fully understand, even though my grandmother told me when I was small. You can walk away from a room and still be carrying everyone who was in that room. You can leave a conversation and take the other person's fear home with you without ever choosing to. You can spend 30 minutes with someone who is angry and spend the rest of your day in a mood you cannot explain because it is not your mood. It is theirs. You absorbed it. Our people called this being a carrier, and being a carrier is not a weakness. It is actually a sign of a very open spirit. But an open spirit without protection and without cleansing practice becomes a dumping ground. And that is what has happened to many of you. Your spirit has become a place where everyone else leaves what they do not want to carry themselves. I want to tell you something about my grandmother. Her name was Ayita. In Cherokee, that name means first to dance. She was a small woman, barely came up to my shoulder by the time I was grown. But she had a presence that made the whole room feel different when she walked in. Not loud, not commanding, just settled. Completely and entirely settled. And I used to watch her when I was a girl, and I used to think she was just born that way, that some people are just like that, calm, grounded, clear. And one morning when I was about 15, I woke up before sunrise feeling heavy in a way I could not name. I had been spending a lot of time with a cousin who was going through something very dark, and I had been trying to help her, and without knowing what was happening, I had picked up everything she was going through and brought it home inside me. My grandmother found me sitting outside in the early dark, and she looked at me for a long moment and she said, "How much of what you are feeling right now is actually yours?" And I did not know how to answer that. And she said, "That is the problem. You do not know. So I am going to teach you how to put down what is not yours, right now, before the sun comes up. And she taught me the cleanse, the same one I am going to give you today, every piece of it exactly as she gave it to me. She called it in our language, Duyu God, as Gaia. It means roughly the returning to the self, the bringing back of what is yours, and the sending back of what is not. It is not a ritual in the way people use that word today to mean something complicated and ceremonial. It is a practice, a daily practice, something you do the way you wash your hands. Because energy gets dirty the same way hands get dirty, and you would never go days without washing your hands. So why would you go days without clearing what has collected on your spirit? Here is how it is done. And I want you to do this, not just listen to it, do it. The first part is what my grandmother called the morning account. You do this before you speak to anyone, before you look at your phone, before you let the outside world in. You sit. You do not have to sit in any special way. Just sit somewhere quiet for 2 minutes, and you ask yourself one question only. What am I feeling right now, and where did it come from? Not what do I need to do today, not what is worrying me, just what am I feeling, and is it mine? Our grandmothers were very specific about this. They said you must take an account of yourself every single morning the way a trader takes account of his inventory. Because if you do not know what you started the day with, you will never know what you picked up along the way. Sit, feel, ask. That is the whole first step. 2 minutes every morning before anything else. The second part is water, and it is not optional. In Cherokee teaching, water is the oldest cleanser on this earth, older than any medicine plant, older than fire. Water remembers everything it has touched, and it releases everything it carries when it moves. This is why our people have always lived near moving water. This is why our ceremonies have always involved water. And this is why the cleanse begins at the sink, or at the river, or at the shower, wherever you have water in the morning. You run cold water over your hands and your wrists and your forearms up to the elbow. Cold, not warm. Cold water is awake water. Warm water is resting water. You need water that is alert. And while the water is running over your arms, you say out loud, again, out loud, not in your head. You say, I release what I received that is not mine. I release what attached that did not belong. I am returned to myself. You say it once, you mean it. And then you stand in that water for 30 more seconds and you let it do what water has always known how to do. Our grandmothers did this every single morning of their lives. They did not skip it when they were tired. They did not skip it when they were busy. They said the days you feel too tired and too busy to cleanse are precisely the days you need it most. The third part is breath and cedar, or sage if cedar is not available to you. But cedar is the Cherokee first choice always. Our elders called cedar the guardian tree. They said the cedar has been standing watch over this land since before memory, and it knows how to clear what does not belong the way a guard knows how to clear an intruder. You light a small piece of cedar. You do not need much, a small bundle, even a few leaves if that is all you have, and you let the smoke move around you, not rushing it, not waving it frantically. Let it move at its own pace because smoke knows where to go. It finds the heavy places. You will notice it sometimes moves toward one shoulder or one side of you more than the other. Do not redirect it. Let it work. And while it is moving around you, I want you to breathe. Slow and deliberate. In through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Out through your mouth for 4 counts. Our medicine people called this the 3-door breath. In through the door of the present, hold in the space between, out through the door of release. You do this 4 times with the cedar smoke moving around you. By the fourth breath, you will feel something shift, not dramatically, not like a lightning bolt, like when a knot in your shoulders lets go slightly, and you did not even realize how tight you had been until just that moment. That is what release feels like, quiet and real. The fourth part is the most important, and it is the part most people want to skip because it requires something they are not used to giving. It requires intentional stillness for 5 minutes. After the water and after the cedar, you sit again. And this time you are not asking questions. You are not assessing. You are just occupying your own body on purpose. Our grandmothers had a phrase for this. They said you must remember the shape of yourself, because when you spend days absorbing everyone around you, when you carry emotions that are not yours and thoughts that did not originate in you, you begin to forget where your edges are. You begin to lose the sense of where you end and where the rest of the world begins. And that loss of edges is how people end up exhausted without reason and reactive without understanding why, and empty in a way no amount of sleep ever fixes. 5 minutes of silence is how you remember the shape of yourself, not meditation in the way that word is used now. Just sitting, just breathing, just being exactly as large and exactly as small as you actually are. No one else inside you, just you. Now I want to tell you who this cleanse is especially important for, because my grandmother was very specific about this. She said certain people carry more than others and they need to know who they are. If you are the person everyone calls when something goes wrong, this is for you. If you are the person who walks into a room and immediately feels the mood of everyone in it before a single word is spoken, this is for you. If you feel better in nature than in buildings and better alone than in crowds, this is for you. If you sometimes feel emotions that seem to come from nowhere with no trigger you can identify, this is absolutely for you. Our elders had a name for people like this. I will not give you the Cherokee word because words carry power and I do not say them lightly. But the meaning of it in English is something like one who feels for the people. And our communities needed these people, still need them. But these people need protection more than anyone else, because their openness is a gift and a vulnerability at the same time. The cleanse I just gave you was designed specifically with you in mind. My grandmother designed her whole life around it, and she was the most grounded, the most settled, the most genuinely peaceful person I have ever stood next to in 85 years of living. I want to close by telling you something she told me the morning she taught me all of this. We were standing outside watching the sun come up, and she had just walked me through every step the same way I just walked you through it. And I asked her, "Grandmother, why doesn't everybody know this?" And she was quiet for a moment, the way she always was, before she said something important. And then she said, "Clara, everybody used to know this. We all used to know how to take care of our own spirit the same way we know how to take care of our own body. But somewhere along the way, people stopped believing the spirit needed tending. And when you stop tending something, it does not disappear. It just fills up with whatever blows in on the wind. I have tended mine every morning for 70 years. Starting tomorrow, I want you to tend yours.